Hey guys, me again. Um, Kind of had a little bit of an emotional morning this morning, and it reminded me of that thing I forgot to tell you guys like 19 videos ago. Remember, like in the first or second video, I was on one of my tangents, of course, and I mentioned I had to say one thing, but by the end I forgot. I remember. Um, the thing I forgot to tell you was who my favorite heir is. I know at some point I said Aiden was, and that's kind of true, but it's not. It's not, and I'll tell you why. Of course, why are we having this bonus video? so, okay, my absolute all time favorite most favoritist heir is Brady. I'm sure y'all know that. Um, and I'll get to him in a second. Aiden, I really had fun writing for him. I mean, that dude was just so fun to write for. You know, Aiden is that guy that you watch in the sitcom, and typical dad who is kind of clueless about the world and has his own idea of how things should go and wants everything to go perfectly, but when things don't go right, he just freaks out all the time. It's so funny. That's who Aiden is. And it was so fun to write about, him, getting married, didn't know what he was doing. I mean, like he knew he was crazy for getting married to that girl, like that. And then they have kids right away. And he's so enamored with Jasmine, and oh my God, that's his little princess. Then she grows up, and teenage girls, and then he has, he has all these kids, and they're like all going crazy, and he's like, I can't deal with all these teenage hormones in my house. And then of course Jasmine, she goes insane, and she has the baby, and that was a really fun era for me. I think as far as heirs go, I had the most fun writing for Aiden. So that's why sometimes I'm tempted to say he's my favorite heir. But this morning I was kind of reminded who my absolute favorite heir is. So um, when the last chapter posted, um, I went and I started reading Generation One. So I've been reading this story for the past 2 months, I guess. Like I read 3 or 4 chapters at night while I'm trying to go to sleep. And then sometimes on Saturday mornings, I wake up and I read some more. It's a nice, fun, relaxing way to spend my time. I'm telling you, you guys, all you writers out there, you have to read your own story. Oh my goodness, it's so rewarding, and it's so well. I mean, at least for me, it is. It's fun, it's rewarding, and it's entertaining. I mean, well, like at least I hope your writing is entertaining to you. If it's not, I think you're doing it wrong. But I am thoroughly entertained by the stuff I write because I write it for pleasure. You know what I mean? And it's a pleasure to me. And sometimes I find myself being surprised, well, not surprised, because clearly I know what's going to happen, but like I find myself getting excited about certain things, like the way you guys are getting excited. I'm like, how is this? Like I wrote this. How am I excited that Anyway, so this morning I finished Generation Eight. Ugh. I need a T-shirt, just like I gave y'all T-shirts. Some of y'all T-shirts. Um, Figuratively speaking, of course. I should make Generation 8 T-shirts. Anyway, and I read the first 2 chapters of Generation 9. Um, I'm getting ready to go to my parents' house for Easter, so I wanted to spend a little time with myself before I get on the road and be around my parents all weekend. But um, yeah, I read 9.1, The Bittersweet Life, and I read 9.2, Dr. Pruett breaks down and back up. So similarly to what I wrote at the end of 9.1 when I was like giving my plea for Brady, um, Brady was always special to me, and I have no clue why. Um, when they were born, the triplets, um, Brady. Okay. So you know how the game only has three kinds of babies. There's the light skinned baby, the middle tone baby, and the dark baby. So Elena and Owen were like the medium skinned babies, and Brady was a dark skinned baby. And because he was different, I don't know. I just felt like he was going to be so much fun, and I don't know. I mean, like just from seeing him, for some reason, I just felt like he would bring so much to the story. I mean, like I didn't even know the kid at the time. You know what I mean? But I mean, hey, that's what I felt. That's what I felt. So um, I didn't know what he was going to bring to the story and why he was going to be special, but that's the way I felt about him. So I personally have always had a soft spot for Brady in my heart. So yeah. So Brady grew up. I didn't spend a whole lot of time with him as children because I'm sorry. That's why we got well. That's how we were able to spend so much time with Melody and River because those triplets were boring. Ugh. It was so hard to go back to their house after Melody and River got married, but I suppose I made it work, huh? Anyway, um, they got more interesting as young adults. Anyway, so um, so him and Robin, I thought they were going to get together when they were teenagers, but like they were so not hot and cold because it wasn't hot and cold, but like how it is in real life when you like someone, probably like when you were younger, probably still now, I don't know. Um, well, kind of like with Elena and Roland's story when they were in high school. Remember, I said that they both liked each other, but neither of them wanted to let the other know. But like they always wanted to be around each other. So Roland kept pretending to come to the house, to use the microscope or to study for a test or whatever. Um, but it was very, very clear that they were very enamored with each other. So it was like that with Brady and Robin. Like um, he would flirt with her on his own a lot, and she would be receptive to it. And I mean, they had like a little pink bar, but I mean, nothing really ever happened. And that's fine. I mean, they were teenagers, and I thought they would have some time to build up their relationship. But of course, I know it's the game how it works. I mean, writers we give meaning to what we see happen in the game, right? So in the story, when Brady's birthday came and he became insane, I said that Robin lost interest in him. And I mean that I don't know what happened with them, but for some reason, like in real life, um, she just didn't, I mean, she really didn't pay attention to him much anymore. You know, I mean, I know it's coincidence, but hey, coincidences are like the best fodder for storylines in our stories, right? But anyway, and sometimes he would flirt with her and she wouldn't receive it. And of course, he would yell at her. Didn't help. He made her feel like trash, y'all. But yeah, so um I was rooting for him, but she just wasn't having it. So um that point when Elena told him he needs to let her go and find someone else, that was really my that was really me letting the idea of him and her go, because I really 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 wanted him to be happy, and I wanted him to have who he wanted, but she didn't want him. So I was like, okay, fine. I will find someone else for you. Well, not I will find, but I will, bring about some people into your life so you can find someone else. Anyway, so I was rooting for Brady. And then Viv came into his life, and ah, y'all know. Anyway, so even though a lot of times in the story, like I spent a lot of time with Elena, it's my girl. Um, but Brady has always been special. So he had kids, and he got old, and Brady died, and so Brady had the active trait, like you all know. And if you've ever played with an active sim before, you know that because of their healthy lifestyle, they get to live a little bit longer than other sims. I would say like a week. You know, I've seen 2 weeks, but they get to live a little bit longer. So needless to say, it's great in those situations when you have a sim whose life has been extended. But at the same time, it's a little bit unnerving because you don't know when they're going to die. Because, I mean, I really wish they would do something about this in the game, but um, I feel like we should be able to see these extra days. But no, their life bar is twinkling the entire time they're alive, and it's a tease, and it haunts you. It's like, ha ha ha. So I didn't know when Brady was going to die, and so when he did, it really took me by surprise. And of course, the way it happened, that was even more jarring to me. Um, he was swimming at the time. A lot of you don't know this story. So it was Sasha's birthday, and he decided to go for a swim. I didn't tell him to get in the pool. He just went in the pool by himself. And he was minding his own business, and I heard the chime, and I was like, "Oh no, 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 not now!" I mean, his baby, what? Not his baby, but his baby daughter. She's coming an adult, and he's expecting his first grandkid tomorrow. Come on. So that took me by surprise, and I shed actual tears, like actual tears. I don't cry much, when my Sims die. Like I'll get emotional, and maybe I'll feel like I want to cry, but I don't really cry a whole lot. But I cried, I did, and then because he was in the pool, he was drowning. Now, true, because his life expired because of old age. His grave thing says he died of old age, not drowning. Okay, but he was drowning, and I've never been in the situation where I've been drowning before, so I don't know what that's like. But I know what it's like not to be able to breathe, and that's not fun. And so, because of that, drowning for me personally in real life, I'm okay. True, any other way than natural causes would be a horrible way to die. I mean, fire. Oh, come on. But for me, drowning is just so horrific to me. Like sometimes not that I think about drowning, like me actually drowning, but sometimes I try to think of what it might be like to drown, and it just makes me so I just can't handle it. And so he's dying by surprise first, and then he's drowning. It was a very not so fun night. So I was crying. I didn't take any pictures. Usually like I'll try and come to myself when these things happens, for the sake of the story, because I am an author. I need to get the story, and like I need to capture the emotions and everything. But I was like, nah, nope, 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 nope. Not taking pictures of this. He's just going to have to go, and I'll figure out how to wrap it up some other way. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So I think I actually I think, like Grimm came and took him away and everything. Oh, and yeah, I did have someone come out and beg for his life. Who was it? Because of course everyone ran outside, which was sad. Um, was it Julian? It was either I don't think it was Viviana. She was like too much in shock. I think I had Julian beg for his life, but Grimm said no. It's like anyway. So I think I put him in the graveyard and then I quit the game for a few days because I just needed I just anyway. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I wrote the chapter 9.1, the bittersweet life, and I wrote it the way I wrote it because I wanted it to be different and I wanted it to be emotional and deep and but beautiful. Um, because yes, Brady died, but Generation 10, oh, 10, Generation 9 was being born at the same time. And I'm like, we can't have these girls being born into well, I didn't know they were girls at the time, but like there needs to be a celebration of life because babies are happy, and it's always a good time when there's a baby in the mix. It's new life. So I was like, ooh, circle of life. How can I write a circle of life type chapter? I didn't know. Um, because I mean, honestly, sometimes I'm just not that creative, y'all. I mean, I don't always have good ideas. So, like when I like when you see me borrowing things like, scripture or, whatever, or, like a scenario that we all know, it's me just not being as creative as you know me all to be, because I don't always have together. So yeah, I borrowed that scripture from Ecclesiastes because it was perfect. I mean, it was about there being a time for everything, a time to die, and a time to born, and a time to be joyful, and a time to born. And I was like, yes, this is it. So So anyway, so it's been a while since I wrote that chapter. Um, of course, I didn't forget the chapter existed, but it's been a while. I've been away from it for a long time. So then I read it this morning, and at first I was okay. Um, like I kept thinking, this is really nice. Like that's all I had to say is this is really nice. But toward the end, for some, I keep hearing things outside. Sorry. I don't know if it's wind or what, but anyway, for some reason, I was getting really, really emotional. Like, like I felt it in my heart. And when I got to the end of the actual chapter before I started, um, a tear fell. And at first I thought it was because I had yawned. Because it was in the morning and, like when you yawn, you cry a little bit. So I was like, I'm not crying. Not that I didn't want to cry, but, I just didn't know why I would be crying. But then I kept reading and I saw the picture of Viv crying at Grady's grave. And then another one came out. And then, like I read my little eulogy. Then I read all you guys' comments. And I was like, I'm crying again. I'm actually crying again. Wow. Maybe this was more beautiful than I thought. And then I read chapter 9.2 when it opened with Jeanette being in labor out in the graveyard, crying, talking to Brady, saying that she wished that I was crying, y'all. I cried all over again. And then, of course, with Viv breaking down in the operating room and so I was like, okay, truly, this means this has meaning for me. And that's when I was like, okay, it's not because it was written nicely. It's Brady, Brady, like Brady has me, So I was like, Brady is my favorite heir. And then I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell everybody why. Well, who my favorite heir is and why. So there you have it. Brady. I mean, like for real, if I could choose one Pruett heir to play with forever and ever and ever, like if I were to um uh put aging off, and be able to play with one generation, Generation 8, hands down. Best generation ever. Yeah, 160 chapters worth, right? But yeah, I mean, Brady has his own show. He's my boy, and I love him, and I miss him sometimes. So good thing I have Crazy Brady's boot camp to see him in. But yeah, he's my favorite heir, and now you know why. Um, Quick update since this is a bonus video, not really answering anybody's questions, but Generation 9 in the game currently, they're almost Juliet and Janessa have died. Jonathan has a couple days left, and Skyla had her elder birthday like 3 days ago. And they have 4 grandkids. So, and they haven't met them yet, but they exist. So I'm glad that they will have the opportunity to meet their grandkids. I finally downloaded that MC Command Center mod. I'm not going to explain everything it does. Just go to modthesims.info and look for it, or just type it in Google and see what comes up. It's very cool for those of us who really, 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 really miss and feel the need to have story progression in this day. Go see Simmer's Gab to see my entire rant about that. Anyway, yeah, so I installed it, and because I'm just playing this save for fun now, I figured I'd see what it does for them. So let's see, Adri. So hold on. Clearly there was a little bit of a learning curve to this mod, and so I've learned a lot about what settings I need to enable, which ones I don't need to enable, and so you can can what am I trying to say? Marriages can happen autonomously in townies. Marriages, pregnancies, everything can be autonomous in this game. Quite frankly, I think they happen too quickly. I mean, how does a townie get generated one day and they're married the next? Anyway, so okay, you you can choose what situations a baby can be born into. You can choose whether you want to have a baby be born only to marriages, or if single parents are okay, or if it's okay for a sim to have an affair with someone, have a baby outside their marriage, or have a baby with someone who is married or in a relationship. Uh, if that's your thing, you can have same sex pregnancies and marriages. I mean, you can create a very, very unique world for yourself. And I didn't. There's a setting that says bypass active relationships or something, and um, I thought it meant that if a townie or a non-playable sim, well, townies are non-playable sims. If NPCs are in a significant relationship with an active sim, bypass all the relationship rules for this sim. And it's true. That's what it means. So pretty much there's like an alarm that happens at certain times during the week where this script runs, so to speak, and it checks to see who's single, who's, whatever. And there is a percentage chance that these eligible sims could get married, have a baby, move out, whatever. And, it's very random. Um, so I thought that meant that when that happens, anyone who's in a relationship with one of my sims, that they'll get bypassed when it comes down to, who needs love in their life. And it's true, but um I didn't realize that I had what does the setting actually say? Uh Affairs allowed. I I didn't realize I had that on. So Maya's boyfriend, I got the notification that he had a child with someone, and I'm like, whoa, hold up. Wait, what? I thought you said that, romance will be by, but yeah, it was true because he wasn't in a relationship with this woman. He just, because you can woohoo autonomously and try for a baby autonomously too. That's a setting you can also enable. So I was like, dang it. So anyway, um, Maya had a boyfriend, and Adrian, he's romantic and outgoing. So, uh, he didn't have a problem. Actually, he did. Anyway, about learning things. I've learned that when my Sims are interested in someone, I need to flag them for like no romance because that script will pick them up like tomorrow's trash, man. I mean, Adrian and Benjamin were interested in these two girls, and things were going very well. And then the next day, I got a notification that they were married. I'm like, but we had a thing going here, girls. Anyway, so Adrian was actually the first to have the whim to get married to his significant other, so I had them get married and I moved them out. And then, of course, he had the whim to try for a baby, so he was actually the first one to have a grandkid. Um, if this were heirs and spares, he's the spare. But I have a feeling that Benjamin won't be so lucky, so maybe his kid would be the heir if I were going to continue this, which I'm not. So he got married, had a kid, and then Maya finally wanted to get married to her boyfriend. Um, she didn't have the women try for a baby, but she's like 5 days from her adult birthday, so I was like, "You're having a kid." And then Juliana, um, Janessa's daughter, she she was old too because she's older than Maya is. So, just to have other branches of the tree continue to flourish, I was like, okay, we're going to go manhunting tonight. Because there aren't a lot of single young adults in my game. Well, there's not a lot of single young adults in anybody's game. You guys ever notice how like the townie, like anyone who's single in your game, they're an adult unless they're a single mother. All the single mothers are young adults. I don't get that. Anyway, so I had her go talk to the first single young adult I found, which was the bartender at the discotheque and Europa in Windenburg. And he was so nice. He's cheerful and romantic and family oriented. I was like, you're perfect. So I made them fall in love and I made them try for a baby right away. Then I moved them in the house. So she's expecting. So that's 3 sets of Generation 11 kids being born. So Maya and Adrian's kids were born at the same time. So no, I'm sorry. No, that's not true. Maya is still pregnant. Adrian and Juliana's kids were born at the same time. And so I got a notification that Adrian had 1 kid and Juliana had triplets. Oh, okay, so I'm sorry. Jonathan and Skylar have 1 grandkid right now. Janessa has 3 grandkids. Julian, no. Yeah, Julian has 5 grandkids, maybe 5. I don't know how many kids Maya's going to have. I moved her out too. But just thought you guys would like to know how the family's doing. Victoria, she's a teenager. She looks just like Skylar minus Jonathan's nose. Yeah, that's it. You guys have a good weekend. Happy Easter. I know this video is going to come out way after Easter, but it's Easter right now. So enjoy your weekend, enjoy your day, whatever you're doing right now. And I look forward to speaking with you guys sometime soon. Ciao.